appears to be listening to their concerns. And it does appear that Reform seems to be the only party that argues and has some of the seemingly practical solutions to the problems out there. Yes, migration is one issue. I don't believe it's the cause of all of the problems in this country whatsoever. But clearly, when you are getting twice the size of Birmingham, whatever, coming in every year, clearly...
I've got a stat for you, James. In the 13 years they were in office between 1997 and 2010, net migration to the UK by non-Britons, total over 3 million. That was under Labour, right? In 1 year to June, 20 Tories, 906,000. Go figure that one, James.
Went completely out of control under their watch. For no real reason, because we have all of the control, from such a massive majority. But for some reason, ideologically, or whether his wife is with us, I don't know. For whatever reason, it just seems to be always pushed the back, ignored, and in fact, in many ways, encouraged.
Singapore on Thames, James. Singapore on Thames.
Well, that may be the case, but I think it's going to bite us in the backside 5 to 7 years' time, because, all of this nonsense about really allowing doctors and engineers coming in, well, absolute rubbish, because we've got an awful lot of people coming in who are completely unskilled. We don't really need them, and we seem to have an awful lot now who are unemployed migrants.
James, quick answer. Can Nigel Farage be the next PM?
Yes.
Next election or beyond that?
Oh, next election, for sure, yeah.
Wow, interesting. Thank you, James, for your perspective. Roger in Derby. Afternoon.
All right. Well, tell everyone why Nigel Farage is a dreamer and everyone else who supports it's got the same idea that he thinks he's going to win the next election.
He may be a dreamer, but he's not the only one, to coin a phrase, Roger.
Go back to 2015, Ali.
Go on.
How many votes did UKIP get?
Can't remember now.
3.8 million.
Go on.
And we're getting to 2024.
4 million.
4 million. What's that vote increase? 200, 300,000?
Yep.
Where's the extra 6 million votes coming from, Ali?
Go on, you tell me.
Well, exactly. You tell me, where are they coming from? Because everyone, the rest of the population know what he is, and it's not going to make any difference to his.
Well, he's still secured one of the most consequential things that's happened to this country in the last 100 years, the withdrawal from the EU.
Yeah, and he won't own it anymore, will he?
Well, he does own it, saying that he wouldn't have made a cack-handed situation that we have now. I mean, Roger, the point is this, right?
That's a different school again, is it?
Not really. It's like he's not in power, so he doesn't have to deliver what he said he'd deliver. He's not in power. But he's not in power, Roger, is he?
Well, you said it. He doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah, but he's not in power. That's the system, right? So you can't have it both ways. He's either in power or he's not. He's not.
So even after 10 years of terrible Tories, immigration, whatever, he still only gained 300,000 votes. Even at the last election, nobody's flocking to him.
He's got 5 seats.
And if you look at the actual constituency breakdown, look at the actual constituencies where he's got more than 10 votes.
So I'm going to tell you this. In 89 seats, they're in second place to Labour, and Rob Ford of the University of Manchester said that Labour and the Tories were the top two parties and only 48% of the seats, down from 73% in 2019. This is not going the right way for the established parties, Roger, is it?
Well, I think Farage has hit his ceiling, and he's been at that ceiling for the last 10 years.
You think that Labour should be relaxing on 34% of the vote, do you?
Well, it's one of them. He's got another 6 million votes to make up to get anywhere near.
Roger, are you seeing what's happening in Europe right now?
Well, regardless of what's happening in Europe.
Does it not concern you one jot? Because it concerns me. It gives me sleepless nights, Roger.
What's that?
The fact that the right is on the march across Europe, and in fact you might have some ugly parts of it on the march too.
Yeah, but at the same time, in the next week you'll big up Nigel Farage.
But he's not a racist.
That's your perspective.
It is, and I don't think he is. I think that this whole thing about conflating Nigel Farage with the far right is ridiculous. I think it's irresponsible, and I think it's going to end the day.
I used to vote for Farage back in 16.
Right, so why have you stopped?
Well, I've still got a sore backside from the Brexit vote.
Well,
They come to a census.
well, fair enough. I mean, it's a free society, and you've contemplated, and you think you made the wrong decision. Some of us never voted for Brexit in the first place, Roger, but there we are. Thanks for your call. Can Reform UK win the next general election? Nigel Farage thinks so. What do you think? 0345 60 60973. Text 84850. Ask Alexa to send a comment to LBC. Ali Mirage on LBC 231. The news headlines. What's up, Morgan?
A man in his 40s has died after a tree fell onto his van in Lancashire. He's the first person known to have been killed during Storm Darragh. The Met Office, meanwhile, says gusts of 93 miles an hour have been recorded in North Wales as Darragh causes major disruption for millions of people. Around 100,000 homes have been left without power across the UK. South Korea's president has survived a motion of whether to impeach him after his short-lived attempt to introduce martial law this week. Most of the MPs in Yoon Suk-yeol's Conservative governing party boycotted a vote. And an Elizabeth line worker has died after an attack at a railway station in East London. Police were called to Ilford station on Wednesday night following reports of a serious assault. LBC weather, a very windy afternoon with widespread severe gales and storm force winds in the west. Outbreaks of rain spreading steadily eastwards with a high of 10 degrees. This is LBC.
Hi! Calling all young creatives. Kickstart your career in media. Apply now and join us in years 10 or 12 at Global Academy. globalacademy.com.
The plant near the reception desk at Axel's Autocare is loving life. Because since Axel started taking card payments with Barclaycard, he's got the money in his account the next day, with no hidden fees. So he spends less time waiting and more time ordering. What's good for small business is good for everyone. Barclaycard
Police's headquarters. They've told us the man, who was in his 40s, was driving a Citroen van along the dual carriageway when a tree fell on top of his vehicle, causing him serious injuries, which ultimately proved to be fatal. They say his next of kin have been informed and are now being supported by a specially trained officer. Obviously, the weather has been hugely wild in this part of the world, much like the rest of the UK. Debris everywhere, train cancellations. We've had fires on the tracks across Liverpool after insulation blew onto the tracks and caught fire, causing all sorts of problems. We've got Christmas markets closed here in Liverpool and in Manchester. The Merseyside Derby, of course, called this morning. Ferry crossings cancelled, videos of people being blown about as they walk along the streets, and of course lots of trees down, covering roads and causing issues on the transport networks. Extremely sad news.
Sorry, go on, please.
Obviously, it's a really busy weekend for shopping, so lots of people would normally be going into towns and city centres, lots of Christmas parties as well, but we're being warned not to venture out unless we absolutely have to.
Yeah, please, Chris, go well and be careful. Very sad news indeed about the poor man who's lost his life there. Joining me also is Claire Nasir, meteorologist. Claire, Storm Darragh causing havoc all over the place. How does this rank compared to other storms we've recently seen, and what are the weather warnings that have been issued by the Met Office?
Yes, it's probably the most powerful storm we've seen this season. It's the fourth named storm, a multi-hazard event affecting most parts of the UK in terms of blizzards across the Highlands of Scotland, heavy pulses of rain, but really it's a wind event, and we've seen winds in excess of 90 miles an hour earlier today where there was a red warning. That now has expired across West Wales and the Bristol Channel, but there's still a broad amber warning causing problems, particularly towards the west, and that actually warns of a danger to life with flying debris, high waves, and further disruption on rails, roads, and also flights. There's other warnings in force across the country, including a wind warning across the eastern side of Scotland down towards northeast England, and the winds are going to be prolific here as we head through evening time. They haven't peaked yet, and that means gales or even severe gales with coastal overtopping. Add on the intensity of the rain. Really horrible conditions out there this evening.
What is the advice to people, Claire, at this challenging time with the weather as it is?
Well, the storm hasn't passed yet, and in fact, there's a wind warning which extends into tomorrow. The last of the winds continue across central and eastern areas of England as we head through Sunday. So really the advice is do stay at home, do not travel unless you really have to, because this storm will pass and it will settle down as we head into next week. Just hang on to your hats because things will improve. But currently, thousands are without power. There have been trees uprooted, and that rain also causing problems with localised flooding.
Thank you very much indeed, Claire. That was Claire Nasir, meteorologist. Very, very concerning out there. Please do be safe if you are out, and better try and stay at home today if you can. Can Reform UK win the next election? 0345 6060 973. Susan, in next. Good afternoon.
Oh, hello. I'm a big fan of your common sense. I've been voting Tory all my life, but for the first time I'm going to vote for next election, for sure. And as for that previous caller who was banging on about Nigel Farage not being particularly popular, correct me if I'm wrong, in the last general election, Reform got 4 million votes and five seats. Yep. The Liberal Democrats got 3 million votes and over 50 seats. So that shows you the popularity of Nigel Farage, actually.
And I think they're going to be targeting their resources more, Susan. They know that they are behind their second place, the Labour, in 89 seats, and they're going to become a lot more professionalised, and that this is their aim. And they also now have 105,000 members. I don't know how many the Tories have, but I can't believe there's many more than that.
Well, it's all about immigration. I really object to being called a racist, to be questioned about the numbers. I've just come back from visiting a family friend in a London hospital, and everywhere I went were non-white faces. Now, that's racist, I'm sorry, but I can only describe people like that. A lot of people were old. A lot of people coming into this country are old and bringing old relatives. And I'm sorry people are ill. I'm sorry about that, but we cannot afford the housing, the schools, the infrastructure. And whilst we need more doctors, we don't need more patients. We just don't. We cannot afford it.
Susan, do you have sympathy with the concept of immigration at all? Do you think it should be zero? Do you think there should be some? What is your perspective on immigration?
right. For people like, I would say, the Syrians, people who come from countries like that, where their lives are genuinely a threat. Genuinely, not because some of these things that we read about people pretend to be gay, because that's you know.
Or Christian.
Well, no, they don't act. The thing with immigration is, if you come because your life's a threat, that's fine. No objection to that at all. But I do agree with Kelly Badenoch. We should be encouraging immigration, or only allowing immigration from people who have similar culture. It's not the colour of the skin or where they've come from. It is, do they have a culture which is in line with ours? That's the biggie for me.
Well, that's a very interesting perspective, Susan, which doesn't really get talked about enough because it's controversial. And I do think that it should be part of the conversation. Nothing should really be off the table, because if it is, you have a situation where people feel that the mainstream parties are not addressing these concerns, and they get pushed into the arms of reform, and that's actually the least concern for me. The bigger concern is that they get pushed into the arms of some very unsavoury, truly right-wing groups, which is not where we want to be. Susan, thank you for your call. Nathan in Salford, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. Yeah, just going off what Susan said there as well, about it being common sense. I think the fact that you're even having this discussion and that people aren't allowed to even question the question immigration. Starmer's out, his points the other day is 6 points.
Yeah,
And
no mention
of immigration. It's ludicrous. And then people who are affected by mass immigration, the moment they speak about it or they bring it up about the racist, they're actually pushing people towards the far right, they're pushing people towards actually being racist.
But Nathan, is that a difficult thing to grasp? Because what you're telling me is a statement of the bleeding obvious. I mean, is what you're saying that complicated?
I think what Starmer and the Tories tried to do, and I think what's going to work against them in terms of reform, is they tried to sort of old man reform in a sense, and they tried to really set about that they are the establishment and that the reform aren't a threat to them, but they're just not taking it seriously, and I think that's what they did with Trump in America and not worried about the Americans.
That is the danger, Nathan, and look what's happening in Europe. You don't have to look even across the Atlantic. Look what is happening in Europe. Are you going to, seriously, right, are you going to write off Le Pen being the next president of France right now? I wouldn't bet my house on that, would you? I don't bet, by the way, but it's conceptual. Go on, Nathan.
If you look at what they did in Romania the other day, though, there's obviously, to me, there was always Russian interference.
Well, as I said,
the other day.
Yeah, indeed. Another topic for another time. Nathan, thank you very much indeed for your call. David in Kingston upon Thames after.
Good afternoon.
Go ahead.
I've been quite lucky. I've actually, now, Nigel and this new Reform Party, I think, is going to win the popular vote. And the reason why is because Nigel is actually concentrating on issues within this country that actually matter to the everyday working person within the country. He's not a racist, but what he is a pragmatist. So what he's saying is look, yes, let's get migration in, but let's get it done sensibly. Let's get the people in that we need to do the skills. But also, he said that our own talent still needs to be nurtured and brought up and brought into the workforce. Coming in illegally on boats. What he is looking at, and it was said on Thursday night on Question Time, the amount of boats that are coming in, and I'd really like to see somebody do a poll on this. How many of those people that arrive on those boats to our shores, coming from France, are actually young males?
I know that
there
point.
Is a considerable amount.
David, I don't disagree with you, but you know, actually, and this is the thing, right? The asylum thing, 45,000, whatever you want to do, it should not be abused, and I've talked about it many, many times. The bit that I'm even more concerned about is the 906,000 that came in, most of those legally under the Tories, for heaven's sake.
I know, and this is
ridiculous.
I know, but if you watch Question Time on Thursday night, they were doing it again. You had Labour and Conservatives blaming each other. People were asking them really sensible questions, and as they do, they were dodging the bullet.
Yeah, but there's no way to hide.
Nigel, on the other hand,
Yeah, go on.
So
Yeah.
Nigel, on the other hand, if you get the time and you go on to BBC iPlayer, and I urge people to do it, he was speaking common sense. But what people tend to do is that I've noticed in this country, when somebody actually puts our country first, okay, you're a racist or you're this. It's not that. Do you know what? I've got a multicultural family myself. I really have. But I think now that the Labour Party and the Conservatives, even with Kelly Badenoch, okay, I look at it and I think to myself, nothing's changed.
Yeah, but you see, I don't buy Kemi Badenoch's rhetoric, because the thing is, Kemi Badenoch was part of the government that patently failed to deliver on immigration, and even when Priti Patel, who's very hardline, Suella Braverman, even more hardline, they were all Home Secretaries. None of them did diddly squat about reducing the numbers. So I'm just not going to believe what the Tories say on this topic, and they've had their chance, they've blown it, David.
And you know the other thing as well, which is very important? People always knock Nigel Farage on Brexit. Well, let's put it this way. If coming out from Brexit, when we did, if the Conservative government had followed through and done things that Nigel had said, look, we're out now, let's do this, let's do this. If they had done that, would we now not be in a better place? No, because they didn't do anything. What they're doing again, they're going back to Nigel Farage saying, well, it's your fault. Well, no, it's not. He wasn't in power.
Well, he wasn't in power, and that's the system that we have, and he wasn't in power, so you can't hold him accountable for that. David, thank you very much indeed for your call. I appreciate it. Livio says this, oh, Ali, please. There's more chance of me becoming the next Bishop of Canterbury. Well, actually, maybe you should put your hat in the ring, given what Justin Welby's another cack-handed mess up that was from an establishmentarian. There's more chance of me becoming the next Bishop of Canterbury than Farage becoming PM or formally in the next election. How many attempts did Farage make before he got elected? Well, he did make attempts and he's got elected now, so there you go. And by the way, crossing the Channel by boat, regardless of its size, is not illegal. People have been doing that for centuries. It's only illegal if you land on the shores and you don't present yourself to the authorities. If you do and claim asylum, you're not illegal, you're an asylum seeker. Regards, Livia. Livia never understood why people would pay people smugglers the best part of £7 a pop to put their lives at risk in the Channel, coming from France, which is a so-called safe country. Are you saying that they're that desperate to get out of France that they want to put their lives at risk in the Channel? Maybe they do. Never understood it myself. Question is this. Can Reform UK win the next election? 03456060973. Ali Mirage on LBC 248.
Coming up at 3 on LBC, Vanessa Films.
The average house price hits a record high at almost £300,000. Do you trust the government to fix the housing crisis? Is it fixable?
Vanessa Films on LBC. What's stopping you from saying, yes, I invest?
No idea where to start. I just don't have time to do my research.
It's all a bit complicated, scary, isn't it? Looks back, looks better, it's easier.
the answer is no. The reason for that is that I genuinely believe, I have faith in the public of the UK because we have values, we have traditions. This man is horrible, he's disgusting, and all these people are talking, he's a racist.
Why?
He's nothing, because he's nothing, he took us out to Europe on the verge of saying because of science seekers. It's wrong. It's totally wrong. He took us out of, I mean, people are hungry and starving.
Well, he didn't take us out. People voted to come out, no?
But no, they did because he lied and he had...
Oh, we're not going that lying thing again, are we? Come on.
No, listen, no, I'm sorry, Ali. Look, absolutely right. I'm telling you honestly, he's same as Trump. He's no different to Trump.
Trump just got re-elected with a massive majority.
Might have done, but I don't think that a British public will fall for that. I genuinely don't. I don't think it'll ever
Okay, no. Okay, I understand your point, and thank you for this, but let me just put this to you. Okay, so withdrawal from the EU happened. Johnson got a massive majority on getting Brexit done and then ignored the thing about immigration. Now, for the first time ever, after multiple attempts, Farage is in Parliament with 5 MPs. Whatever you think, it's only going one way, Mo.
No, I don't think he will. I honestly don't think he will. I think the man is a fool. I think he'll slowly just move away. As soon as the pressure will get on, he'll just move away. I don't think he ever going to... I think it's the public. I know there are people out there who's racist. There's no two ways about it.
But why is it racist to control immigration, Mo? Why is it...
It's not... I don't think it's about it. I think he uses controlling immigration to bash people. I agree with immigration. I'm not Pakistani. I've been here since 1970.
Okay.
So I have come it's not under control, and I think it's got to be done the right way.
Okay, Mo, this is important, right? This is important. Just so I understand your position before I let you go.
Yeah.
Do you think 906,000 is just too many people for the country in 1 year?
I think you're absolutely right. Absolutely right, it is. Absolutely right. But it's got to be done the right way. Just give me 2 seconds now, Ali. Look, European Union. Now, if you look at European Union, they have this law that where they come and settle here, they can bring their children, whether they're 90 or whether they're 40 or 50, right? They can bring parents, grandparents, whatever they want. Now, I myself, I'm disabled. I actually leave work because I have a disabled child and I have to look after him. I wanted to bring a care for him so I could carry on working. I can't do it. Now, these people are coming in, not these asylum seekers, but these are coming in legally.
I know.
And that's the problem.
But they're not even coming from Europe anymore, Mo. They're coming from around the world. It's a legal level that it's simply too high.
Absolutely,
okay.
absolutely.
Mo, we agree on something. And I appreciate your call. Thank you for that. It was civil. Mark, a first-time caller in Birmingham. Warm welcome. What would you like to say?
Hello, sir. All right. Basically, what I'm seeing here now is the general election, which I voted for. I voted for Keir to be out with that petition. And basically, I did vote Nigel Farage, reform. I will say it as it is. But it's what I'm looking at it now when I see my mum and dad as pensioners have their heating allowance took off. Now, reality, around my area in Birmingham where I live, there's a hotel, I won't name the name, but there's a hotel near us now with all the migrants in. Now, they have these Aspen cards. Now, as I know, looking online, have a look yourself, £49 a week they get, as I know. But why is it these Labour governments are allowed to have these Aspen cards and they're allowed to spend it in the bookies underneath the hotel, plus having all brand new mobile phones given to them and everything, and they're selling these phones as well and making a few bob out of them, right? And this is happening now. I'm looking at my mum and dad and having the heating allowance took off of. Now, to me, Nigel Farage speaks sense. He didn't want this to happen. He wanted the ECHR to come in and have this house, and he was speaking sense. He said it on YouTube and a couple of other videos which I've seen online. You know, media, social media, and he said this is going to be a problem.
Okay, well,
looking at it now, it is.
Okay, well, finish your point. Go on.
Looking at it now, it is a problem.
Okay.
It's costing the taxpayer millions and millions.
Mark, you're talking about the asylum issue, which for me is just part of the issue here. It's an important part, but it's just part of it. Do you think irrespective of what you just said, Nigel Farage can actually realistically become PM? Because I don't think he can next time. Maybe at some point in the future, but I think he's being a bit over-optimistic.
He can't organise this country, no. He couldn't. He's not
That's why you voting for him.
He's avoiding questions.
But then you said you support him, Mark. I'm confused.
I'm supporting Nigel Farage, that's what I did. This is what's happening now.
Okay, but if you're supporting Nigel Farage, do you think he can be Prime Minister or not next time?
Yes.
Okay, understood. Mark, you're more bullish than I am on that one, but there we go. You're definitely buying Nigel Farage stock. Mark in Woodbridge in Suffolk, afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ali. Nigel Farage may become Prime Minister. I'm dubious about that. However, the reason for his popularity is really very simple, because immigration succeeds or fails only on three factors. And these three factors are common to every single society throughout history. And the three factors are these: how many, how fast, and who. If all three factors are acceptable to the whole society, everybody gains. Immigrants are welcomed, they integrate, everything goes well. If one or more of those factors is unacceptable, too many, too fast, and the wrong ones, whichever one, society is crushed, social cohesion is damaged, the rule of law is compromised, certain groups then inevitably receive favourable legal status and certain unfavourable legal status, and we have exactly that situation here now. Immigration was never a problem in this country as long as it was the right speed and the right numbers, and who is the most important. Ali, do you think there will be any question at all, any confidence at all, if a million Australians came here, or a million Canadians, or a million Americans? People won't even notice, because the closer you are to the culture of the country to which you immigrate, the easier it is to integrate.
You think the culture is an important point, which I think is neglected in this conversation.
Yeah,
Do I think a million Australians? But
I
I still think a million is too high, irrespective of wherever they come from, culturally aligned or not. Mark, you've made some very obviously eloquent and straightforward points. The simple fact of the matter is, no one cares what you or I or anyone else think, because they prove that by their actions, which is they totally ignore the public. Mark, thank you very much indeed for your call. David, you've got 10 seconds.
Okay, it's very simple, Ali. Farage knows that if Labour don't get on top of migration, they're sunk.
Okay.
It's as simple as that.
Well, I think you made a very good point in a very pithy manner. David, thank you for that. Thank you for all your calls and messages this afternoon. I'll be back tomorrow from midday. If you missed any of today's show, you can listen back or catch up on Global Player, where you'll also find all of Global's live stations and a range of podcasts. Download Global Player for free from your app store. Go to globalplayer.com. Bring up at 6 on LBC is Natasha Devon, but first she's here, Vanessa Bells.
Hello, thanks, Ali. At 5, there's no such thing as a well-behaved dog. A study of 43,000 of them finds every dog has at least one behavioural problem. Do you disagree? Is it all in the training? Is your pet good as gold at 4? What did Keir Starmer mention in his 6-point plan for change? Social care. Not a syllable. It's taboo, the unbroachable subject. Do you need the government to come to the aid of social care? Not. Ignore it. But first, the average house price hits record high, almost £300,000. Labour says it plans to get Britain building again. Successive governments have failed to address Britain's